Well, I think you all know my frustration that we were successful. I mean, it started in June 2012 that I was able to introduce the private members bill to develop a federal strategy on Lyme. I hoped that it would actually make a big difference in the lives of all of you and other people dealing with Lyme disease, families, friends, and those who are physically dealing with it at present. And I have to say, having gotten it to become law and then having a national conference, which we finally had in spring of 2016, the level of frustration, and I know a lot of you know this because we keep talking about it. Janet certainly knows. We continue not to see the progress that we intended to see with greater access to Lyme literate physicians, greater awareness. We've seen money flow into research, but it's largely been funneled towards those who are not necessarily on the same page with those of us who recognize that, as you said, Janet, I like the comparison with COVID language, that we're dealing with long Lyme, but we don't seem to have the breakthrough we need. And I think all of you know that. My frustration is with physicians across Canada, although we have more Lyme literate physicians than we used to, but we're not where we should be. And so I join you today just to say that I'm not giving myself a big pat on the back for getting in legislation if it doesn't make a difference, right? It was supposed to make a bigger difference in the life of people dealing with Lyme. It should have made a bigger difference in awareness and prevention, but treatment and desperately identifying where we need research for treatment of those and so many Canadians dealing with chronic Lyme, long Lyme, whatever we want to call it. It's not easily treatable when it becomes persistent, chronic, and long Lyme. I think we've made a lot of progress, by the way. I got a tick bite in summer of last year, and I was at a home of a friend who immediately grabbed her tick tweezers. She had them at the ready. I got to the local clinic just to be on the safe side with my tick in its little bottle. All the things I've talked to people about for years how to do and how I was doing them. And they checked that tick and it was fine. It didn't have any bacteria, but the doctor I went to in the emergency clinic immediately gave me a round of antibiotics to be on the safe side. So anecdotally, I could see we've made some progress, but overall, it's wholly inadequate. And I continue to speak directly with Jean-Yves Duclos, Minister of Health, and we did make some progress on the report that came from the Minister of Health in response to Public Health Agency of Canada, but more needs to be done. So I'll stop there. What brings me to the panel is, I think, like many of you, frustration that we haven't made the changes that we should have made by now, despite obviously some evident levels of progress here and there. It doesn't meet expectations.